What's going on, everyone? So, yesterday was RBET Rulers. Absolutely hype event. Big thank you to Keegan for making everything happen, for making just this absolute amazing climactic tournament happen. Did a full, 10-hour stream. It was absolutely hype. It was awesome. I was there the whole time, so very fun, very fun. I ended up playing KFC, which you probably saw. Reason I went with this is pretty obvious. It's my favorite deck I'm most comfortable with, just very familiar, very fun, something that I didn't feel like I needed to grind a whole ton with to learn how to play. I felt like I'd played it enough. Um, so yeah, the list is pretty similar to the one I think I profiled on the channel before. Maybe a couple slight changes. I went up to 3 Wing Blast in the main. I cut out the Avarice. There's a few different changes in the extra deck, not too relevant. At the last minute, I ended up cutting, I think, a Fossil Dyna and a second Iron Wall for double Bottomless on the side, which in hindsight I think was a mistake. I'd have probably rather had the Dyna and the Iron Wall. So probably going to change that back in the future. But otherwise, I feel like I was pretty happy with the list and how it performed. So yeah, we're going to be looking at the matches one by one. Well, first I got to mention I got a bye in round one. So basically a free win because of my excellent past performance, which is nice. We take those. And then we're not going to be looking at my very first match because in the middle of that match, my opponent went AFK for over 10 minutes and got a game loss, and I sort of won by default at that point. So there's not a lot of to talk about in that match, and it was really short. So we're going to be skipping straight to my second match, at which point I've advanced 2 rounds in the bracket essentially for free. We take those, though. It's all good. So this match is up against one of my teammates, who ended up doing very well in this event. I think he placed 3rd place with this disgusting deck. You can see he's playing the Frog combo deck. It's his version of Frog Slicer's list. I lost RPS because I lost RPS in every match. That's just how it is being me, Gotta play with a handicap. Anyway, he opens okay. He can make Duplock and chill and try to combo next turn maybe. He doesn't have the Fishborg yet, but he can do some stuff for sure. My hand's not bad either. We have lots of disruption. So I just go Titanial set 3. The reason I chose to summon Titanial is to thin my deck of dead draws. Unfortunately, he draws heavy. Or no, he had heavy. I got owned by heavy a lot today, and yeah, getting my judgment stopped really sucks against this, because if I could have judgmented something, that would have been really nice. Oh, and he top decked the Fishborg that he needed. Tough break. Anyway, he goes in with Unifrog. I decided to just 1-for-1 trade Titanial with this. I set Sangan. Again, can't really do anything. He can, do Exodius stuff and maybe combo off here. I forget exactly what happened. These replays might be obnoxiously long. So he hits in, mills the level leader. Gonna main 2, try to go off. I'm gonna Wing Blast, get rid of the Substitute. Hopefully just try to buy myself some time, but I need to out this. The Torrential is a really good draw. I might have used it a little bit early here. I end up chaining it to this to make them dupes in his timing. But he has a Symbol of Heritage, which means he can keep comboing. So a little bit rough for me. Symbol of Heritage, one of the neat new techs that he's on. So we're in a bit of trouble here. Apparently there's a magical mallet in the main deck, which I find interesting. Yeah, he can do a lot of plays. The level eater essentially lets him go positive with the Fishborg and the Swap Frog bouncing it. So here I'm gonna die if I don't use calls, so I figure I might as well use it for the Sangan to get some value rather than the Titanial, which is just gonna get killed. We have to Black Rose here, just hope my opponent doesn't draw anything. He draws Upstart and then, of course, draws off Pot of Avarice. Pretty annoying, but we're not out of it yet. As frustrating as that is. So he goes Swap. Just hits for 1,000. Fortunately for me, he Upstarted, so I'm not dead. I go AFD plus Gear Town. So we can kill him in 1 turn, assuming he doesn't just Wombo on me somehow. Which he could conceivably do, honestly. But he doesn't have access to the Substitute, so we're just going to Kuraz pop both, attack directly for game. So going on to game number 2. My hand's okay, but we don't have any disruption. Never really drew my Crow at a opportune time in these matches. So So I try to go Karez to just try and dig for some disruption, but I don't find any. I don't play around Storm, and I just get stormed again, so 2 for 2 on getting owned by Storm, honestly. It's a little unfortunate. Anyway, the opponent has like full combo here too, so it wouldn't even mattered if I had played into Storm or not played into Storm, because he can just kill me no matter what here, so yeah. I probably did the right thing then, just playing both, because I knew he was going to full wombo me if I didn't have maximum disruption, so I'm going to get like Colossal Armored here, and I think I just scoop it up so we don't have to do any dumb like time rule nonsense here, because we're not doing that shit to our teammate. I'm pretty sure you can combo in under, what is it, 10 minutes. So game 3, we're pretty good. We have a Dust Shoot. Unfortunately, my opponent has opened Godly, and I can't even mess up his hand with Dust Shoot. So yeah, that's super annoying. He draws another Salvage off Upstart, which is nice. So yeah, this is a big problem. If he hadn't opened the Absolute Nuts this game, I probably would have won with the Dust Shoot turn 1, but unfortunately, he can still combo. So we are in trouble. We are in some major trouble. He doesn't have Fishborg, I don't think, so he just duplocks. We go for Garden. We're not out of it yet, actually. He needs to get access to Fishborg to really threaten us. Unfortunately, he draws an Avarice, which is another really insane top deck. Ocean's in here, by the way, because he told me after the reason he's playing this is because he plays Future Fusion as another way to get to Fishborg. So here, I just decided to Black Rose. It's conceivable that I did this a little too early. I Mind Crush the Level Eater because I know it's there, and I see his hand is pretty good. He's got the Salvage. It's a problem. We search a Crow, which can't stop Salvage in this format for some reason. So I'm not able to do it here, but I can stop Fishborg at least and prevent like full Wombo combo. But he also has the Exodius that he ripped there, so another unfortunate break, honestly. And now he can send the Fishborg back, which is very funny. Anyway, we just have to pass. We just have to pass and watch him mill more cards with Exodius. Fortunately for us, we're not going to get, like, he has to do this in main 2, so we're not super worried. I think he just ends on Stardust plus Duplock, which is rough to deal with when we're only on 2 cards. So yeah. And we draw another Crow, which is, like, a little bit late here, buddy. A little bit late. We revive the Sangan. I can get another Debris Dragon this way, and, like, now my plan is, like, maybe I can stall behind AFD for a while. Because I can stop the next Fishborg, and then he can't make a Catastor to out this, so it's an idea, it's a plan, you know. We're in a bad spot. I Crow the other Fishborg, so apparently he's on Mobius. That's interesting. I didn't know he was boarding those in. So the opponent's just attacking. I'm setting stuff. Here I decide to go for the Brain Control. I know I have to do this at some point. So now we go for the AFD, get the Gadgetron, tribute the Stardust, draw 2 cards. We're in an okay spot. He sets Torrential, and I just end up losing this Torrential because I assume he's not on back row. So kind of anticlimactic ending to that game. Felt like I was sort of grinding my way back into it, but yeah, we got owned. We got cheated by the random 1 trap card in the no trap card deck. It's guess it happens, but did not see that one coming at all. All right, anyway, on to, and maybe I shouldn't have scooped it up, but I was down like 5 cards, so I just figure whatever. Anyway, we get knocked to loser's bracket, but it's not the end of the world because we already advanced like 2 slots up in the bracket, so we still have a shot. We still have a shot at topping. This match we're up against Blackwings, I think, which I forgot to talk about matchups. I think I mentioned that I wanted to talk about matchups in this video. I don't remember, but KFC is a deck that is not super matchup dependent, I think, compared to other decks. I'd say the Frog combo matchup's pretty 50-50. I mean, like if you have some generic disruption that's good against them, in terms of Phoenix Wing, which is a lot better than playing like Deep Prison or Bottomless. You have ways of dealing with their stuff, but you're also not as good as like Blackwings with like a bunch of back row and oppression and stuff like that. So it's, I think, a pretty 50-50 kind of matchup. Definitely they were close games, so I think that sort of justifies my assessment of that. Blackwings, on the other hand, I think are an insanely good matchup for KFC, and no spoilers intended, but you're probably going to see that in this match. KFC generally does really well against like aggro decks because you just like summon guys that are bigger, and are also a control deck that outgrinds them. So here we play into the Torrential, but it's fine. I considered Mausoleuming for Titanial, and I decide instead that I want to go for an AFD play. So that's what I end up doing. Yeah, we get the Black Garden, then we go Terraforming, then we go Gear Town with Garden, and from this point, we're feeling pretty good. We're way up on life, we have huge board advantage. Opponent does have Mirror plus Ick Attack, so this could be really difficult, actually, to find game this turn. I think, yeah, Ick Attack gets used here, so we just attack, and figure if it's Mirror, we get to draw. Opponent draws Gores, which I don't know why you're playing Gores and Blackwings, but they are, apparently. Which they didn't even need to activate Whirlwind last turn, if you really think about it. So this Gores could have been live. I don't know why they activated that Whirlwind. Anyway, they sure hit over the boy, who I am still playing, by the way. Minefield Driller is and will always be precious to me. So you can stop making fun of him. You can't take him from me. He probably should have put this Armor Master in defense, because I could have rammed Rat and gotten Mole anyway, but then I just draw the Mole. So yeah, rough to be him in that game. It was a tough spot for him. I don't know if it would have mattered what he did there, honestly. This game, he goes for Greph or Vayu, sets Ick Attack. So here, the fact that he doesn't do anything here makes me think it has to be either Oppression or Icarus Attack. I try to force out the Oppression, I think, with Call of the Haunted here, because I see him sent Bora, so I'm like, maybe he's got a Blizzard, but it's not Oppression, so we just end up going. He Ick Attacks both my monsters, we get to draw a card. I do remember to send this call later, by the way, just FYI. So he plays really bad in the Mirror today, which I think that happens later too. A couple people played really bad in the Mirror. We just set Snowman Eater pass. He passes. I don't know why he has Soul Release and doesn't do anything in this matchup. I decided to just ditch the Snowman Eater for a Kurez play, and we get some sick draws as well. So we're going to hit him for 3k. We never saw that Gores in game 1, so I'm just assuming he doesn't have it, but here I decide we can just play into it because we have Starlight Road. He uses Torrential, we use Road, and we win the game. So quick little 2-0 against Blackwings there. Yeah, not a lot to say. I mean, it's a very favorable matchup, I think, and Soul Release, I didn't even see that card. That's a questionable side deck decision. In general, I think Graveyard Disruption is just not good against KFC, and you shouldn't bring it in. Just bring in, like, Bottomless or, I don't even know, Bottomless Cyber Dragon, that sort of stuff. Seems optimal to me. Anyway, next match, we're up against Hydro Pump in top 16. Hydro Pump, of course, on Dragon Turbo. Game 1, he opens just like, this turn is insane. This turn was insane. I was mauling really bad when this was happening. I'm not gonna lie. Just like a bajillion. I get card destruction. I'm like, all right, my hand is still really good going second, and then I see him set 3, and I'm like, oh shit, no, he's gonna card destruction me. And now I have a slower hand for sure. I don't foresee this Mirror Force doing anything productive, and I mean, he's still just going off. I think he draws like his entire deck. So yeah, this is not looking too good. Future Fusion gonna be used. He's got 2 Rejuves in hand. I think he ends up like discarding 10 dragons in the course of this turn. I was definitely counting. Yeah, I think it ended up being 10. So he's only going to be able to use one of these super juice, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, this is just absolutely insane. He goes double red med. I assume these are in defense in hindsight, and the other things aren't because he's playing around Colossal Crash, wiping his whole board. So that's got to be why. We do draw a field spell, which lets us do something. Here I'm like, all right, maybe we can just out his red meds and then leave Drago on board, and he maybe can't go out his own Drago and kill me, but I'm pretty sure he has a way. Like, he decides to go Trident Dragon to pop it. And then he just goes off with a red med, and he magical stones for instant fusion and summons another red med, and we are very dead here. We are very dead here. Clear Vice going to hit over our big boy, and yeah. No, there's really nothing we could do there. I mean, we're going second into turbo. You open the absolute nuts. It's just a thing that happens. So, oh god, did the replay break? No, this replay did not break. Surely. What the hell, man? Let's try refreshing it. Please tell me the replay is not corrupted permanently. That would be so annoying. Oh my god, it is. Maybe we can watch game 3. I forget what happened to game 2. I don't know. I'm not. It wasn't streamed either. That sucks. Anyway, it looks like game 3 is working. Game 2 was pretty epic, if I remember. But I don't know. I'm not gonna like try to verbally describe all the details of game 2. But I ended up winning game 2, as you can tell, because we're in a game 3. So anyway, game 3, I think he drew all right in game 2. So I was like in game 3, all right, he's due to brick. It has to happen, right? And then it finally sort of happened. So he wasn't able to like do anything crazy on turn 1. Here he draws Future Fusion, and yeah, this was going to be really bad, but I have the Mind Crush for all 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. Man, it just really sucks that I couldn't show game number 2, because game number 2 was epic as well. I think it was, anyway. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Anyway, he goes Trunade to get rid of the Garden, then card D. So I lose my Crow, which is a little upsetting, but yeah, and I didn't draw another one either, but his hand is completely dead, so yeah, getting a little bit of karma for game number 1 here, I think. We just decided to hit with Gadgetron, set. I really wish I had another spell trap to set with this, because I get stormed and it's just gone. Oh, man. Reason I brought in Road, by the way, is because of like Lightning Vortex and stuff. I assume that would get sided in. Probably Treacherous Trap Hole as well. Both of which are pretty good against this deck, so yeah, anyway, he's got a pretty good play with Red Med here. He decides not to hit the set monster, maybe thinking that it's a giant rat or a Sangan or something. Here we go for debris play. I think it's the only really play I have. I go AFD. I'm like, okay, we can out both dragons, and the other 2 cards I'm pretty sure are dead. So if we just get through next turn, we can go for game. So that was my thinking here. He can't do a whole lot here. He just tries to draw another card with Trooper, but it ends up being just a Gorse. So he's dead. He's dead here. Man. Was really hoping to get to see game number 2 of this match, but too bad. Oh well. You'll just have to take my word for it that somehow I won game number 2. There were a bunch of witnesses, so it happened. Anyway, we're going to press on to... Oops, I already saw that one. Match against Beast Mode. Beast Mode is playing zombies. Beast Mode, very good player. In terms of matchups, Dragon Turbo is a very good matchup, I think. Because, yeah, there's a lot of variance, but you're really, really good at just, like, playing quickly into the red beds and outing their big guys because you can just summon Gadgetron. This matchup, however, is probably, like, the worst sort of common matchup for KFC. I think the zombie matchup is very bad. But we're in a pretty good spot here. Our opponent's hand is not great, and we've opened pretty solidly. So we definitely have, and we finally won RPS. for the first time all day. So we have a shot. We have a shot if we can just win this game number 1. So the opponent's going to summon Zombie Master effect. Tries to go Hades here, which would be really annoying. Hades, another very annoying card for KFC with all the recruiters and stuff. Kind of wondering why he didn't dust shoot me yet, actually. Yeah, that's a little strange. So we go terraforming for Gear Town. We just decide to play into whatever. Even if we hit a sweeper, we're going to get some value out of our floaters. Go upstart into upstart, and then we just attack. Attack, attack. So we're in a good spot here. He draws Brain Control. He could have also maybe made Hades here. Could have potentially been a problem. But he would have had to have gotten rid of his Plague, I guess. We draw Grand Mole, just try to bounce this. He goes Turtle, attack. I get Dust Shooted finally, and so it's not going to super matter for him. He still gets value out of Dust Shoot. I'm not going to be able to pressure a whole lot. I probably could have just won the duel right there if he hadn't Dust Shooted me. So a little bit rough. This is going to get dragged out a lot now. I draw MST. We just keep summoning Grand Mole, because, like, why not? Keep summoning Grand Mole, attacking. I'm not drawing, like, any action, which really sucks. If I could just find, like, another field spell or something, or Kurez, or just anything that will let me, like, get rid of this Gear Town, besides the MST. So here he stacks for Plague, and I strongly suspect this card is returned from the different dimension, because it's been set for a while and it hasn't done anything. So I chain MST to prevent that from being a huge problem. So now he just gets back Mizuki, as opposed to getting recycled both Mizuki and Plague. He goes for game, but I have the Mirror Force, so we're going to live. Even if he had Judgment, I'd have had the Wing Blast there. We go in with Giant Rat. So here I decided to Wing Blast the set because it didn't do anything. And I'm like, alright, we can just attack for game next turn. Unfortunately, he has the Mirror Force. So he's going to live, and he draws a monster to set. So he's going to live again. But we have this Brain Control, so it's just really hard to see how he comes back at any point. He just has to try and deck me or something, I think. And yeah, he can't really do anything there, so end of the game. End of the game, we're going to game number 2. This was the only hand that I really bricked with all day. As you can see, this is a garbage hand. And I think I draw... Okay, we draw Garden, which isn't bad. I decided to set pass, which is fine. Here I make the biggest misplay I think I made all day. What happened, I make a huge sequencing error because I wasn't thinking about my play. I was kind of rushing, and it causes me to do these things out of order. So I should have just summoned Debris first, and I end up playing really bad into this Torrential. So ideally I'd have summoned Debris first, and then threatened the Stardust, that he could have had the Torrential there or something, or just probably hold his Torrential, I don't know. And then we could have gone like Stardust plus Garden plus Gadgetron, which would have been really obnoxious for him to deal with, especially with the Grand Mole. So I maybe even could have won this game if I had not made this screw up, even with the pretty bad hand that I opened. But yeah, that was a massive, massive throw. That was by far the dumbest thing I did all day. He just had the out to the Garden too, so I definitely needed to like go for that Stardust play. And at this point, I realize I've screwed up, and we just have to try again in Game 3. Game 3, our hand's alright. It would have been a lot better if we hadn't drawn that Titanial for turn. So a few unlucky breaks we're catching here. We just go for the Dandy instead. So he goes set. I decided to go for Gadgetron. Of course, they have the Bottomless, because they always have the Bottomless. Also, man, owned by Storm again. Yeah, this is a pretty good pro set heavy. Unfortunately, my field spell was not Gear Town. I guess if it had been, you'd have just Black Rosed me anyway, but yeah, not the best. Things are not going well for us this game. And we draw second Crow, which, not good. We essentially have 3 completely dead cards in our hand now. And the whole reason I only side 2 Crows is so I don't draw 2 of them at once. And at this point, I feel like I have to play around like Caius, so I end up tributing both my monsters for Titanial. And it's a good thing I did, because he actually drew the Caius, so we'd have lost even harder. He goes for Brio. Brio pitching Necro Gardener. Wonder if he's siding or maining that. That's an interesting card. We draw Mausoleum, which doesn't do anything. We draw Storm, so I'm like, alright, maybe we can make some kind of push later. So here, I decided to wait another turn. I get super caught off guard, though, by this DD Crow, because I don't expect people to bring it in, really. There's only 3 cards of the whole deck it interacts with. So, a little bit unfortunate, but we can still do something, I guess, summoning Gadgetron. However, he's got, like, multiple outs in his hand, and we're down a lot. We have 2 just useless cards. This is essentially just a -2 right now. We didn't get any value out of either of these crows. And, yeah, we're in a bad spot. I think I just scoop it up here, because there's nothing I can do. So, yeah. Honestly, I maybe had a shot in that game, too, if I didn't make that huge mistake. And it is rough. I've ended up finishing, I think, like, tied for 9th place with 3 other people. And, yeah, I'd have been much happier to top 8, but then again, I'm happier bubbling an event than, like, scrubbing out completely, too. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how it went. I mean, you have to consider also that this is an event with all of the other, like, best top players in the entire format, so standards probably should be a little different in terms of what I expect out of myself, but yeah, I'd have preferred to top, not lying, but I'm still pretty happy with how things went. I think I got a decent YouTube video out of it anyway. I think there were some really cool games in here. Man, the match versus Hydro Pump was pretty nice too. It's a real shame that the Game 2 replay got corrupted or something. I wish I could have shown that as well, but yeah, anyway, these were fun matches, and I hope you guys enjoyed my little tournament report, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. So, peace out, everyone.